What a both alarmingly disturbing but weirdly heartwarming movie this was.
It definitely went back and forth, didn't it? You know, it was
There's like two movies here.
I think there's about 7 movies here, but sure.
There's the first half, or really, I guess it's kind of like a little more than a third. That's like dark as shit. And then it kind of turns into this weirdly touching found family movie. And then it gets weird again.
And then it turns into a touching found family movie again.
That's right.
And then it gets weird again. And then it turns into a touching found family movie again.
Both of these movies, for me anyway, I found initially challenging, like really challenging, but they both reward the investment, I thought. And the payoff, I thought, for this one was particularly good. I mean, I loved I love this. Like, that was just gorgeous.
Yeah.
There are some things I found.
Both of those. The first one where he's standing on the bridge and looking out over them, and then the second one where they're all in the canal going together.
So this came out in what, 03, right?
02?
03.
Okay. And Danny Boyle's 28 Days Later was a year earlier, which I think was the first notable digitally, like lo-fi digitally shot feature.
Well, hold on. That's a difference. This was shot on HD cam.
Yeah, this is HD cam, which is actually better quality than 28 Days Later.
You know it from some of the scenes, looked
not just some of it, not just some of them.
I thought this
a lot of them.
I thought this film looked like crap. It just no way around.
It looks like, but I'm guessing that was part of the. I mean, like,
no, it was a whole
like everybody who was making features with handy cams at that period of time.
Well, this was before the wave, because I looked it up. It really started in America about 2004. Right. Danny Boyle was very early to the game because Michael Mann picked it up with
Collateral.
Well, that's right.
That's a different.
Collateral was
that's the Sony Genesis. So it's actually a cleaner.
No, this movie is ugly as shit, except when it isn't. I mean, like, it's mostly ugly. But there's
some great moments, especially the jellyfish stuff.
The jellyfish stuff's great. I mean, actually, I really enjoyed like some of the scenes of Tokyo. I thought were really quite striking. I mean, this is the thing.
Yeah, it is a thing.
That's a thing, all right.
I guess that's one way.
I was wondering if that was some kind of Abbas Kiarostami kind of nod. I don't know if you guys know his work, but
that's one way to do this.
No, he's definitely making a reference to earlier Japanese filmmakers here. Like, it's definitely.
But I mean,
what's the logic of that? Why is it?
Because the people who are sitting in the seats are completely separated. Like, they're never talking about the same thing. They're never in the same emotional frame. Like, it's like the whole thing about this movie is emotional separation. Like, all of these people are emotionally separated all the time. Like, it's.
But how is that a reference to an older film? Is what I was asking.
Well, the thing is,
I just meant visually. There's a movie
because
called 10.
He did this. He did the splitting.
Yeah, I thought it was just kind of like drew attention to the technique. There's like 2 mounted cameras on the hood of the car and the truck, and that's I think the only thing I noticed. It's so jarring to see the kind of weirdly going to poly screen images that it was like, all right, well, they're doing montage now. That's unusual kind of trick. It reminded me of Persona a bit, where you watch the same scene twice. It's like, except this was like at the same time. I guess there's a reason for doing it, but I couldn't tell you what it is. It's a
split screen thing.
Yeah. I would use that to describe the entire movie.
I definitely uncovered a theme with Kurosawa's films, in that he is centered around really odd young men with really strange, quirky kind of powers. It's like the main character, the one who goes to jail. He had this long term plan with the jellyfish and the salinity and trying to get that into the Tokyo water supply, basically.
So we
And
can kill a bunch of people.
yeah, and kill a bunch of people. And yeah, it's like it was this kind of relentless psychopath, but that's also the same character that was kind of in Cure too. This relentless psychopath kid who, like, you know, was able to like instantly murder people. I guess he was fascinated by that particular thing. And this one has the advantage, I thought, unlike Cure, of being a real surprise. It didn't feel like an imitation of Seven. It was a unique.
No, this is
it was
its
just
own
a very unique story, and it was the way it was put together in a way that had a lot of, again, this is what Chris said, between like bits of horror and bits of that kind of thing, and also this warm family movie going on there. It's very odd.
This poor, I mean, what a heartbreaking character that dad is.
Yeah, no fooling.
Like, I really felt bad for that guy.
Especially in this scene.
Yeah, like he's got what, like just another awkward, horrible, selfish piece of shit.
Oh, wait, Jim's here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hey.
He says yoo-hoo.
Yes, his terrible son.
his
Hey, Jim.
terrible son. Well,
Hi, Jim.
His other terrible son, right?
Yeah.
His additional terrible son.
Talking about the jellyfish movie, Jim.
sons who are just well, the one behind Tad, I mean, it's like he's not a psychopath, he's just an asshole.
Yeah, right.
Give me 100 million yen. I don't have 100 million yen. Well, then we're not going to talk about this anymore, are we?
Right. I mean,
Oh, and well,
I really felt for that character. I thought they did a really good job of this guy. He's got these two horrible sons.
He's about the same age as Kurosawa is when he's
right.
making this too.
And he's trying to make a go at this. He's got this little life in this little shop doing things that most people don't really care about.
Electronics repair was my big thing in Japan. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, and I just and then the character, this character who is obviously desperately looking for, if not a father figure, just somebody to connect with, finds this dad who is just lost one son and he doesn't have any relationship at all with the other one. And like on that level, it's like the Hallmark movie, like these two lost souls find each other.
Right.
And then they find each other, and there's maybe 20 minutes of the movie where they're building upon something, and then it just goes totally sideways again.
Well, yeah, actually,
because he's an asshole,
right?
But you actually kind of flipped it over, and it's not a bad idea that the fact that the younger kid, the one who does not go to jail, he's always a kind of follower. He follows his brother, which is why he's going to go and kill the boss minutes after his brother does it. Then later on, when he's disabused from this whole thing by the fact that his brother went to jail and died, he starts following this other guy. He's just one of these people who needs to be following somebody. And I guess conformism, I guess, is a minor theme of this, in terms of like, you can conform into like someone else's life, like video repair or being a psychopath. You could be like this guys in the white shirts at the end who are just as a mass of young salarymen out causing bullshit.
Future salarymen.
Yeah, exactly. And so
they're not salarymen yet.
No, they're trainee salarymen. I want you to call it.
Jim, I think your mic might not be on.
But like I said, I like initially I'm like, what the fuck is this going on with this movie? And then then you get like that sort of sharp left turn into, they don't show the murders, but you see the aftermath and it's pretty dark.
Yeah.
But this movie just sort of whipsaws you back and forth, and I was off balance for a great deal of it. But in the end, I felt like the 2 hours was worth it. And at the end of it, I like, well, it's actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure for a lot of it. Like, I don't know if I like this. And then by the end, like a solid thumbs up from me.
Jim, you up?
What?
Oh, you were.
Yeah, we hear you.
I can hear you.
Speaks.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of like, I just kept comparing it to Cured, and I thought Cure was just a superior film in almost every way. It looked better for one thing, and I thought the story was a little bit tighter. This one, maybe he's trying to say something, but kind of this meandering story about redemption and love and being a sociopath and not being a sociopath and being these other sociopaths. I don't know, but I thought that Cure was more he had a control over his powers as a filmmaker.
I don't think Nomura is a sociopath. Is where I disagree with you on that.
Okay,
but I think Nomura is an id. He's just a person who's entirely controlled by whatever is happening in his brain at any moment.
I'll give you that.
But the long game on the jellyfish is not as, I mean, it might have started out impulsively, but he had a long game there.
Right, but he's not trying to hurt people with that. In fact, when people start getting hurt, he gets so upset that he goes upstairs and he destroys the antenna on the roof because he doesn't want anyone to see what's happened. Like,
well, no, I think we're talking about different people though. We're talking about not Nomura, but the other guy, the guy who actually who owned the jellyfish at the beginning of the film.
I'm talking about Nomura, who is this guy.
Yeah. I'm talking about his brother who.
I'm talking about the guy that
I don't think they're brothers. I think they were just best friends.
They're not brothers at all.
I didn't think
they're roommates. They're roommates.
Yeah.
They're
roommates. Right.
They're but the thing is, that guy was like, he had a long. It's not.
Mamoru absolutely had a long game.
This guy had the long game.
Yeah, Mamoru absolutely had the long
game. And it's not unusual for films like this for having the bad guy or the nemesis have a long game like that. You know what I mean? It's kind of interesting. But
to agree with Tad, I don't believe Nomura was a sociopath.
No.
This
he's
guy,
he's a Dave's follower.
Guy is a sociopath. This guy.
Yeah, he was a sociopath. But his roommate was not his brother, but his actually.
No, his roommate was like a child.
He was a follower. Like I said, that's why he followed somebody else at the end of the film and went from being a malevolent to a benevolent kind of relationship. It's just interesting in a lot of ways, but there it is. Well, anything, John? You've been real quiet.
Bottom row is extremely quiet.
Yeah, Jared hasn't said anything either yet. I don't know. This didn't make a big impression on me. I didn't understand the motivations for what people were doing in the movie, so I didn't care very much. It's like, okay, so that boss, they worked at a laundry, and the boss seemed to be very nice to them and gave them raises and invited them over for dinner. And then the one guy,
everything,
he got a pipe to go murder them, and found out that his buddy had already done it. And at that point, I'm just like, why is this happening? Why is any of this happening? This felt like a lot like an indie that I would see at a film festival and never think about again.
Like Funny Games, kind of.
I don't know. I didn't see Funny Games.
A lot less.
We watched Funny Games.
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't. That's right.
You didn't miss anything.
It wasn't nearly as
not true, Jim.
I mean, it had its moments, I guess, but I just was stunned that this was the thing that the guy made who made Cure, which I liked so much. 5 years earlier, he made Cure, and this, it had that indie sort of meandering, like, I want to make a movie, but I can't quite think of what to make a movie about. So,
well, maybe it's that kind of weird, like,
magic jellyfish.
No, it's a digital film kind of indulgence. Says, hey, it's cheap to make a movie now. I'm gonna make about
this
crazy shit.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing I ever saw. I just didn't really engage with it very much.
Is this the same year?
I don't have much to say.
The same year as 24-Hour Party People, right? 2002.
Ish.
2003.
On the technical side, I did want to bring up the fact that some shots looked so much worse than others. And was that 2 different cameras, or was he cropping in?
I think it was 3 different cameras.
Yeah, it's actually how the cameras. It's all HD.
It's also lighting.
How they responded to light.
Well, but the resolution of 20% of the shots in this movie is noticeably blockier than the other 80.
Yes, I mean, intercutting shots, he'll cut to another angle, and it's clearly a different quality image.
Yeah, the ones that are supposed to be observant cameras, so they're like security cameras or stuff like that. Like literally, you have that when they're moving the desk around in the house.
Right.
It's like there's a security camera up.
But I know what Chris is actually talking about. He's talking about like some of those street shots.
It's really like.
And
I think he carries that. I'm saying he carries that through the whole movie.
Right.
Well, and I think honestly that is literally, even if he was using the same camera, it is a light issue. These early digital cameras just responded so differently to different lighting situations.
So where I'm actually seeing stair stepping on hair.
Yeah, no, that's not good. I saw that.
And then I assume that there was some really low light stuff that's insanely grainy. Yep. And that's where I was like, well, maybe that's even a 3rd camera.
but it had better
Or
resolution.
it's the first camera just cranked weirdly differently.
When the camera was
Could
set in
be.
a tripod outdoors, it was pretty decent. It looked like a film. It wasn't too
Some
bad.
of it looked pretty good.
Not
Yeah.
even outdoors, in the warehouse.
Yeah, where it's well lit, so it's like
Yeah.
it looked quite good. But some places they were running and gunning, it looked like shit. So
So
and
does
also, he kind of compensated, but you could tell he pulled. He's doing post. He pulled all the color down. I mean, this is a pastel colored film.
kind of
Yeah. All right. Well, golly.
Does anybody have any
Aaron
insight
said a
in?
fucking thing.
Does anybody have a response on like the motivations, like why one of them was ready to murder the boss's family and the other one already did it?
We can talk. We can tell it again.
I think that part of it is sort of like a meditation on like the apathy of youth, or just like the idle, like, you know, what's that saying about the devil idle hands?
The Devil's Workshop,
I'm gonna
right?
whack this guy who's maybe
idle
a little
hands
nice
is
because I'm
devil's-
bored.
Yeah, idle
Yeah,
hands.
because I'm bored. It was sort of nihilistic then. I did love the last shot. That ultimately they played the theme music and ran the credits over, which was all the kids in those Che Guevara shirts running down the street kicking boxes. Nice shot.
Well, those are the same kids that ran rampant and took all the money and
Yeah.
got
Yes.
arrested, right?
They were talking. At the beginning of that scene, at the very end, they were talking about that crazy guy that they
We're
met.
in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's funny because it's like, again, this is a question of being a follower and being a conformist. And in some ways, you know, though our main protagonist is actually kind of an individualist. He follows one guy, goes into a thing, is very singular, keeps to himself. These other guys just like join a group, dress alike, and do stuff. It's like, it's very different. So it's a kind of a breadth to the human condition in this film, which is interesting. Or the Japanese human condition. I'm not sure how it works. It's human condition in general, I guess. And there it is. Also, all the least jellyfish are doing great in the rivers when they're worried that they're going to go out in the ocean and die because they're going to seawater.
Now they're used to fresh water.
Yeah.
Deacclimated from salt water, right?
That's right. I guess it kind of solves itself.
I'm gonna be less kind than John, and
Go ahead.
I couldn't. This is one of the ugliest, most boring movies I think I've maybe ever seen. Definitely with you guys. I couldn't engage with this thing at all.
Fantastic.
I think this was, which is so funny because just like Scott said, I enjoyed Cure so much so that I bought it immediately on Criterion Blu-ray. I think this is this is not engaging to me, and it looks so fucking awful. Like all of it, not even the well lit shit to me looks like. But I understand that it was HD cam time, and we're doing all this.
It was
blah, blah, blah.
otherworldly, though. I guess that's kind of.
Also, I didn't care about anybody. I didn't care about anything. I wanted it to end as quickly as it fucking probably could.
Jared, I'm going to stop you right there. I think you made your best point right there. There's who is the empathetic character in Cure? You had their main guy, it's
right, the detective,
and man, he had some scenes there where it was wrench your heart out. It was so emotional.
I mean, I know the dad was flawed, but you guys didn't. Any of you didn't find him even a little sympathetic?
Not really.
No, I don't think they didn't paint. You know, I think it's in the writing and the directing and the acting. And I mean, this is what films are made of. It all comes together. And for me, this movie does not come together. I think John's insight about, this would be something that you'd see and maybe forget about. That might be on the mark. I think that obviously this Kurosawa is a good filmmaker. We can see that. We know that. I have no idea what I'm interested to see some of his other work, because this was a huge miss for me.
He's showing
I think this might be one of the worst movies that I can remember seeing recently on this with you guys.
Wow. Jim has been very quiet. Do you have a corner, Jim?
Fantastic.
And welcome to the show late.
Do we need to watch
Yeah.
the Jack Lemmon thing again?
It was hard to get into it at the beginning, but then I sort of liked it after a while, once the jellyfish, who was the best actor.
Great job. I didn't know you could keep him in a tank. That's I didn't know that.
Apparently,
You
that
cannot.
Was
None of that is real.
Seriously, was that
Apparently that was
No, it's all digital.
well, then that was very
Really?
That was
Yes.
very
All
good
those things are
good
photos.
special effects then.
yeah. Well done. He fooled me.
Until it started glowing, I just assumed.
a tank.
Although we jumped on top of Jim. Finish up, Jim.
Yeah, sorry, Jim.
Uh-huh.
I'm wondering about the scene that's behind you, Scott, and also behind Tad. Do you know why? Did you have any feeling for the motivation of the split screen thing?
We had
Because
this
sometimes you can
before
see them. They're actually farther apart.
I have two cameras.
I have two cameras.
No, it's because they're
I mean-
absolutely not in the same emotional plane.
That's Tad. I think that Tad is correct.
That's generous.
Well, I can't explain it
why are
either, but I
people
would
only
say
Go
in
ahead.
a stronger film, I would appreciate an artistic move like this because I love envelope pushing. I love daring. I love avant-garde. I love things that are strange. And I would not think twice about looking at something like this if I was into the film. But to me now, this just looks like, oh, okay. I mean, in fact, I'm looking at when I saw that, I said, oh, I want to like this because I want to like this movie. I want to like this weird thing that he's doing where he's separating everyone. But it ultimately just was empty as well for me.
It only happens in cars.
It only happens
people,
in the
people
Yeah.
are
No,
on
no,
Just
it
that one
only
shot.
happens in this truck.
in this truck.
correct.
In
Yeah.
this truck.
So I guess that applies to the other scenes. Everyone's together emotionally, except
But is there any other driving scenes?
yeah, there's like three or
No.
four driving scenes.
I don't think so. So
It's all in
not
this
driving
truck.
scenes that aren't in that truck, I don't think.
Right.
Oh, they're not just in the truck, and because he had the nice rig, he probably paid a lot of money for. And
And I found the father the most sympathetic of the bunch.
yeah,
The scene
sure.
where he comes in and he throws his keys
Mhm.
and Nomura's hiding next to the desk
uh-huh.
and he doesn't respond when
Ah.
he throws his keys and he walks over to him and he's like, Can I still stay here? He's like, Of course you can still stay here. Like what why are you asking me this? Like
Right.
that and then
That's the stuff that connected.
I couldn't care less. I could watch paint dry and it would be the same as watching this movie. for
I
me.
was watching
That's nice.
two broken people find each other, and I
Yeah.
thought it was sweet.
Oh, okay.
Even surrounded by all this ugliness, I thought
even
that
when he goes upstairs, he breaks the
TV antenna.
off. Like when he comes back, he's still like, oh yeah, I guess he did that, huh?
And I think Tad, did you explain why he broke the TV antenna? Someone explained earlier.
He broke the TV antenna because he
didn't want his
did
dad
not
to-
expect the jellyfish to kill people, and so when the TV was on there and it was showing him that it didn't actually kill that kid, but it came close to killing that kid.
Right.
almost killed his fake dad.
It almost killed his fake dad too. Yes, later
That was a
on.
fun-
Which was funny.
that
I
was a
did
fun-
laugh.
That was
I
a
did
fun
laugh.
scene. Yeah, I still can't believe that jellyfish in a tank was digital or something.
It's all digital. Look it up.
Oh, I will. Damn, that was good.
That was very convincing. I thought it was a real
Because it's like-
jellyfish.
It's one of those
CGI
it's one of those
and
subtle
credits at
effects
the
just in the
end.
background. And you're like, oh, you just accept it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
That's
do.
the best kind of
Are
effect,
red
right?
jellyfish even real?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, those are
yeah.
real. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like being in tanks though.
I
and-
just want to I want to point out that Mahola Dargis of the New York Times gave this film a favorable review, saying one of the pleasures of Mr. Kurosawa's films out is how he casually tosses ideas of contemporary life, the state of the family, the place of technology, all while steadily shredding your nerves. And I think this
didn't-
movie is
There was no nerves for me on this one.
I don't know.
No,
It shredded my
That's
nerves
nice.
and like kind of like maybe there's ants crawling on me, kind of like
yeah,
yeah.
no, this
like-
movie is uncomfortable through its entire
but it
run.
isn't like
The
excruciating. It's
first
just-
half for sure.
all right. Any further thoughts, Jim? Before
Yeah, no, that's okay.
all right, enough. All right. Well, I guess let's go to the cards.
Like I said, I wasn't sure, but by the time I got to the end, I was I liked it.
Oh, I'm glad.
Sorry,
I'm glad.
I'm
those
not
of you
sure
who
if I
enjoyed
was the best
I'm
spent time.
in
watching
here.
this.
It's not the
Sorry.
worst thing I ever saw.
All right. Well, okay, good enough. I'm kind of where John. Me and John are kind of like.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.